thank you, Juan, so much for joining today on Player Input.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. This is a really special interview for me, obviously, because not only are you a part of my team, but I've known you for many years now, and you're a dear friend to me as well. So thank you so much for reaching out and for having such a special piece in my life as well.
You're very welcome.
All right. So for anyone that doesn't know, this is Juandell Brunner. He was a former coach of top players such as Kai Kanepi and others. He kind of went through a life-altering experience that we'll get more into as the interview goes on, right?
Okay, I just want to clarify that I worked with Kai Kanepi for the Miami Open. I was not her coach, but was asked to coach her for that tournament.
Okay. All right, good. All right, so let's go right into it. Let's start with, how did you first get into tennis?
For me, tennis was honestly an accident. I was in the wrong place at the right time. I went and started roller skating on a tennis court and was asked to leave. And before I left, I said a little wisecrack, which I shouldn't have. And lo and behold, the tennis instructor there actually knew my family. So I started to cry, and instead of him telling on me, he asked me to come back at 12 o'clock and bring a lunch. And he introduced me to tennis. I was 7 years old at the time.
And this is in Finland, correct?
No. My wife was from Finland. At this time, I was actually in Florida on vacation at my grandma's house.
So going from that, how was it being a kid of color playing tennis?
As I started to improve, I started to realize that things didn't come so easy for me when it came to things financially, and just acceptance, I guess. I didn't, as a child, you're oblivious to racism, and I started to notice at times that kids would tell me, you don't belong here, and I didn't understand why. So I just ignored it, or they, look at him, he doesn't even have the right attire, he can't afford this, he can't afford that. And of course I was hurt, but I didn't understand until my coach pulled me aside and he said, they're not just making fun of you, they're making fun of you because of your color. And it hurt because I couldn't understand why they would do this. But I started to read up more on Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe. And when I started to see what they endured as people of color and how they just used their platform to break barriers, it fueled me more. It made me want to not prove to them, but prove to myself that, you know what, I don't have to show them that I belong here. I deserve to be here. So I just play to win.
And how long did your tennis career go for? Did you play juniors? Did you play pros? What did you do?
I played juniors. I went through, I had a decent ranking that got me into college. I played collegiate. Of course, we all have dreams of, playing pro and getting out there and one day winning a big slam. But unfortunately, that just wasn't in my cards. So I ended up playing a few satellite tournaments back then and really understanding that you need money to play these tournaments, or you have to be well sponsored by someone. And it just unfortunately didn't happen for me. So I took a different direction and started learning how to coach.
Right. And Were your dreams always to be, you know, like you said, your dream, anyone's dream is to become a tennis professional, but were your dreams always in the tennis world, or did you have dreams of becoming like a doctor, so to speak, or was it always tennis related?
I, at one point, wanted to be a lawyer.
Mhm.
That was something I was really headstrong about. My family always told me that uh, anytime something happened, I always had an answer for it, or would debate with them. So they said you'd make a great lawyer. Um, but again, I believe the love for the sport of tennis just kept me in the game, and it was just something that kept me healthy. It was something I could give back, uh, to the community, because a lot of people in my time, they gave back to me, and they really made sure that I stayed on the straight and narrow, and just stayed out of the streets.
And what has tennis, what are some of the best things that tennis has brought to you, you think?
It's given me the opportunity to, honestly, to break color barriers. It's given me the opportunity to travel the world. It's given me the opportunity to have a good education. It's um, it's given me the opportunity to meet one of my childhood idols before he passed, which was the great Arthur Ashe. Um, it's given me more things than I could have ever guessed would have been put in front of me.
So you don't, there's no regrets of going into the tennis field. You wouldn't have traded it for anything else.
No, I wouldn't have traded it for anything else. I've opened doors for many players, helping kids from Europe to be able to come to the US for the first time in their lives, and then continue on to go to college. I've helped players in Finland, where my wife is from, to play professionally, and they've gone on to do bigger and better things. I've touched a lot of lives with this sport, and it's very rewarding. Not always monetarily, but just to hear that player say, "You've touched my life. You've changed me. You've helped me to be better," and showed me things that I would have never thought would have crossed my plate.
And do you think that tennis is one of the most difficult sports or jobs to have in terms of, you know, making it, or in terms of coaching? Like, is it easy to get, you know, you got that coaching gig with Kai Kanepi, you know, you obviously you had to make some relationships to get there, or did you get there on your own, or how does it compare to other jobs, you think?
Tennis, as far as Kaya, it's in the tennis world, it's who you know, and making good friends and keeping in touch with them, and the trust that that player has in you to be able to call you and say, hey, can you work with me? Or not just her, but other players saying, hey, do you think that you can help me with this or that? And it's not easy. I will say this, and I'm pretty straightforward, as you know.
Mhm.
I will say that there are coaches like myself and many others who don't always get that opportunity to always be out and showing these top pros what we can actually do as a coach. It's never that easy, because I feel that there's a small fraternity and sorority
Right.
of coaches that basically flip flop for one another. But there are coaches like myself and many others who are just as talented and know the game, and just want that opportunity one day to be able to work with a player of, honestly, any caliber that's out there. When it comes to being a tennis player, it's not easy.
Mhm.
And you're out there for months upon months upon months. You're living out of your suitcase. You're wondering if you're going to have enough finances to play the next tournament, to even afford a hotel, to to pay for your meals. I've known players who have been sleeping on floors. As a coach, I've slept on floors at times at people's houses. And it's not a easy journey, but if you crack into the top 50 or better, it can be very rewarding.
Right. And jumping from when you were a kid, when it came to color, to now as an adult, being a coach and now being an agent, do you think that the same rules still apply being of color, or do you think it's been easier now that you're an adult, or what do you think?
It's never easy for anyone.
Hmm.
But if I was to say, based on color, there aren't very many coaches of color out there.
Right.
Uh, I think I could name maybe a handful that I personally know that are working with the elite players on tour. Um, I don't want to make any speculations because I don't want people to, take it the wrong way. But I do feel that there needs to be more diversity or diversification with coaches of all ethnicities. Because,
Hmm.
like I said, we are. There's a group of us that are very smart and have the capability of getting players to be better. We're just not given the chance.
Yeah, I understand. Experience, you feel as though it's tough. It's tough for everyone, basically.
It's very tough. I've had some nasty things said to me when I've been in different countries. I've had the N word thrown in my face directly, uh, and you have to have some thick skin
Hmm.
to get past that. Uh, I've had stares. I've had different things. I've had, in different countries. I was in Lithuania. I had a kid literally come up and touch my skin and look at his hands as if it was going to, if my
Rub off.
darkness was going to rub off. And I said, "Don't worry, it's not coming off." And his mother was so embarrassed. But I chose to just make a joke out of it because if I got angry, it would only show that, this is how they might feel that we behave or just,
Yeah, I
I
understand.
don't
It's
know.
mature of you. I know.
I chose to take the higher road.
Yes. No, I agree. All right. So moving on, let's talk about your life-altering experience. Go ahead. Just dish it out.
Um, Many people know that I had a stroke a couple years back that took my ability to walk. I was paralyzed on my right side, um, and it also at a point took my ability to speak. Um, it by far is the most traumatic thing I've ever gone through in my life, and I say that because again, when you're a coach and you're an athlete, you don't know what it's like to be on that other side of the fence when you look at people in wheelchairs or you you look at them and you sympathize with them. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for them, but you never expect to be that person.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing for me was not being able to speak and listening to my boys when I was in the hospital, asking, is daddy going to die? Is he
Hmm.
going to make it? Is he going to come home? And not being able to respond and hearing them say that crushed me. But it also taught me a lot of things. It taught me to slow down. And as my wife says, sometimes stop and smell the roses.
Hmm.
It taught me that when I put my mind to it, I can accomplish anything I want. I was in a wheelchair for over 9 months. I wasn't sure if I was going to walk again. I'm currently, I went from a walker, from the wheelchair to a walker to a hemi walker to a single cane.
Hmm.
And I'm not even close to 100%, but I proved to those doctors who said, your husband's not going to be getting up. He's not going to be doing this. He's not going to be doing that. I proved to them, but more so myself, that I could find an inner strength that I never knew was there. And I thank that to my wife and my kids, because if not for them, I don't know where I would be. And definitely for my wife, because when I had the stroke, she was supposed to have played tennis
Hmm.
earlier that day, that morning, and she decided to cancel. And when I had my stroke, she was there.
Thank God. Yeah, everything
So
happens for a reason.
she saved my life,
Hmm.
literally. So I'm grateful for her. I've I've learned that, you know, time waits for no one. I've learned that when my kids say, "Daddy, can you do something with me?" I don't hesitate to spend that time with them, because it has really taught me that, you know, you can be here today and gone tomorrow. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I'm blessed. I'm thankful to be here. I miss being able to go out and hit a tennis ball. I miss being able to sprint. I miss those things, but I'm still here. And that for me is more important than, you know, being able to run, jump, skip, hop, or do that at this time. Will I be able to get there? That's what I'm working toward. And I hope one day to be able to do that, you know, to even hit a ball with you. Who knows?
Hmm. And you're still currently doing rehab, right?
I am, yes.
Um, what, so even though you had setbacks physically, um, you know, and possibly emotionally and possibly mentally, you know, it took a toll on you, the stroke. And I know all the life lessons you learned from it. Do you feel as though it has given you new opportunities now that you know you're grateful for, or that you otherwise would have never gotten? Do you think that it helped you in life as well, even if it was such a traumatic experience?
It has. It has. It's helped me to really be more in my kids' lives. Um, my wife and I have always had a strong bond, but through this, this, horrific situation, our love for one another is stronger than it's ever been. The other opportunities are, for example, having the opportunity to be a part of your team, and to help you, and to still use the knowledge I have in the tennis world to do things differently. So yes, it has opened doors for me, and as long as doors are able to be open, you just keep moving forward.
Did you ever have the idea of becoming an agent in the future, or did this kind of uh gear it towards that?
I thought about it years ago, and the reason why is because my wife said, you have so many friends in the tennis world. You've been so great with people. Why don't you just take the time to start managing them? If you're not going to be out on the tour, you have the knowledge and the contacts to be able to do those things. So why not start your own company or be a part of something? So she was always pushing me to do it, but I would say at the time I wasn't sure about myself, and if I was able to do it. So I
Were
mean,
you
we all
afraid?
go. Well, yes, yes. I won't lie about that. I was afraid because I didn't know if I would be able to help manage or be a part of a strong players team. If they're going to trust me, if I can really show them that I'm not just in it for money.
Right.
The money will come in time, but it's about showing your loyalty to the athlete, showing that if they need to call you in the middle of the night, that you're going to pick up. If you're promising to get them something, you're going to bust your butt to go out and get it, and or try your best and at least show them that, you know what, the effort is being made. And that is something, as you know, I'm a go-getter.
Mm.
And I'm just hoping in time that, with yourself and the trust you have in me and where we're going, that we're blessed and it pays off.
Yeah, I agree. I think we will get there. I hope we will get there. And okay, last question. What are your goals now on through life? What are your life goals now?
My life goals right now is to make sure that my two boys grow to be successful young men. To grow old with my wife and make sure that our lives are healthy and we just live comfortably. And to make sure that the players whose lives I'm in at this time, that you all go on to be successful on court and off.
Hmm.
And most of all, to just make sure that my health is continuing to get better. And I want to put down this cane one day. I don't want to be on the cane all my life. So that's what I'm working toward, to be able to get off this cane and to just do good things in life for people like
Well,
yourself and others.
knowing how tenacious and slash stubborn you are, I'm sure you're gonna accomplish everything. So, but thank you so much, Juan. I really appreciate you jumping on this interview with me.
Thank you for having me. It's my
Of
pleasure.
course. Of course. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Juan.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.